In a live audience, you are 4 times more likely to sell because they are in a group setting, they are emotionally on a high, it is a completely different environment. The energy, the music, there's just nothing like a live event. This is the strongest year I've seen for live events in a very long time.
Welcome to the Social Media Takeaway. I'm your host, Louise McDonald, and this is the show for business people that want to know how to use social media more effectively to drive sales and leads for their business. If you enjoy the show, please make sure you subscribe. And if you know any friends or business colleagues who may benefit from this episode, please make sure that you share it with them. So today I am delighted to be joined by Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen is an expert in terms of market positioning for speakers, coaches, and experts. She has built and sold $6 million companies in diverse industries and has been an entrepreneur since the age of 19. Today, she is known as the market positioning expert by supporting her clients in developing brand domination around their expertise. And she works with small business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, speakers, and experts in many different niche markets. You're very welcome to the show, Debbie.
Oh, great to be here. Calling in from Phoenix, Arizona.
Yay! So good to have you. For those of you tuning in who may not have heard of you before, maybe just give us some background. That sounds really interesting since the age of 19.
Age of 19, yeah, not too many people could say that a job actually scares them to death. I've never even applied for a job in my life. I have never attended a day of college, although I'm the world's #1 authority on expert positioning. How'd that happen? A lot of work in between there, but I look at it as very fortunate to be able to have family that got into being entrepreneurs, starting a business when I was just at finishing high school. And so I started joining the family business, and then I bought into the family business when I was 19. We built that from 5 rental cars to 250 rental cars. It's still there today, 50 years later. My brother still owns it. And then we started a mini storage business. We were first right outside of Chicago area to build mini storage. And all the banks would say, that sounds like a fad. And I don't think I'm going to loan you money. And I would see my dad just keep trying, like doing whatever it takes. And I think that was the biggest lesson I learned as an entrepreneur in my 20s. Do whatever it takes. And I built $1 million business when you're in your 20s, how many years ago, it's the only way I looked at business was like, okay, what's my next thing? And many of you that are listening here might be thinking, what's my next thing? What's my next chapter? But here's the cool thing is once you have skill sets, you can take that skill set and that experience, turn it into becoming an expert, and then make money from the knowledge you already possess. That's pretty cool. But I went through after the family business, went into the clothing business and owned multiple women's clothing stores. I bought that business from my mother, who had lost money for 6 years. Everybody thought I was crazy to do that. I was fortunate to find mentors. I guess back then we didn't even have mentors, but I got invited into a group of these people they were all part of a Fashion Alliance was the name of it. They all had stores similar to me, and they shared all their marketing. They shared their buying office in New York. 6 months into having my business, I'm shopping in New York with buying offices. And of course, I blew my business up very quickly from 100,000 to multiple $1 million business in just 2 years. So my goal as an entrepreneur, and I want to share this before we move on, is you're an entrepreneur, you got to think about 2 things. You either build to sell or you build to magnify. In this case, I was doing both. I had learned that lesson that I was going to build these stores to sell them eventually, and then, of course, build multiple locations. And once you get a system down, you can do it over and over. So how did I go from clothing business into the speaking business when I didn't want to do any more of that and open up more stores 15 years later? I just wanted to help more people that were small business owners or be successful because I knew how hard it was for them to survive against the big corporations, and they had to do things differently. And that's what really inspired me to get in the speaking business. Louise, I didn't even know it was a business. I just really got into this business, and my first speaking engagement was at a big show in Vegas and trying to fill a room in Vegas. I did, but that wasn't easy. I had to work it. I had to prove that they even needed seminars at this big trade show. So I was one of the first women to even launch speaking in like trade show association business.
And so now you're known for helping people with their positioning. So positioning for me, anyone who listens to me go on and on, like I'm always saying that if you can get the foundations right in terms of your messaging and your positioning, everything else becomes a lot easier. So for the people that are listening in who don't quite understand what positioning is, can you maybe just explain what it is and what your take is?
Yeah, you nailed that right there, Louise. The foundation is the biggest piece. So whether you already have a business and you're wondering why you're not getting as many clients as you'd like, or you're not getting the kind of money you want, you go back to your marketing. How is your marketing positioned? And how is it positioning you as a leader in that industry? And what makes you unique? So if you're a speaker that speaks on personal development, what makes you different? If you're a coach that teaches, you're a life coach, there's tons of life coaches. What makes you different? Don't call yourself a life coach. Don't call yourself a speaker. Find something like a strategist or an expert in a specific industry, and then own that industry and really go deep within that. So I always say pick a lane. That's your niche market, your ideal niche market. Share your expertise to them, and then you can own that and rise to the top very quickly. A lot of people, when they start out, I showcase this as like a pyramid level. At the bottom of the pyramid, that's where the majority of people are when it's really a general market. And as you move to the top, you start positioning yourself as the key player in that position. And then you learn some skills of speaking and selling, and then eventually build multiple income streams. And so it is a process, but the basic pieces, we got to go back to the foundation, which is the branding, every piece of your marketing, everything that you put out there that people see in the world positions you.
And I know another thing that you do is you help speakers to actually speak from the stage and sell from the stage. But before we get to that, so for somebody who's here listening in at the moment and they want to speak from the stage and want to sell from the stage, like how do they even, number one, start to get more speaking gigs?
Yeah, a lot of people think I got to be a professional speaker first before I learn to speak and sell. And really, it goes both ways. Here's the thing is I have clients that come to me that I call road warriors. They were like me, paid professional speakers, one of the top paid speakers. I'm booked all the time. I spoke in 28 countries, but let me tell you why. It wasn't because I wanted to speak in 28 countries at first. It was because of survival. This is not sustainable to do this long. It sounds great, but in the reality of it all, a professional speaker, it's not a viable long-term business because something like that can happen, your health can happen, whatever, or you become this road warrior and you don't have a life. Now, I'm going to do this out of survival. Next thing I go, I got to figure something else out because this can't be long term. So then I go to these seminars, and it was back then we would call those speaker pitch fest, where one speaker after the next gets up, does 60 or 90 minutes, makes a sale. And that's when internet marketing was really strong. Here's the magic bullet, spend $5,000 and you learn how to blow up your YouTube channel. And then somebody else would get on stage and do something else about internet. We were all just grabbing all that stuff, right? And I'm watching these people speak, and they're not really good speakers, but boy, they knew how to sell. There's like 30 people back there throwing credit cards at this person that just offered a $5,000 program. And I'm like, I could never get that as a professional speaker, right? You're at celebrity level for that. I'm like, maybe this is something I need to learn. And then I just kept hiring people and then started learning from that. There's such a thing as Google, and you can find people. And then when you start doing this, other people start asking you. And here's the thing, Louise, the more you speak, it's like a snowball effect. Once you're out there, oh, hey, come over here, do that for us. And it was really a win-win situation. You're bringing in an international expert who is waiving their speaking fee and all their travel to be there for an opportunity to speak with you. We do a full day workshop. So people were loving it. And then the host would make a percentage of the sales based on how many people they put in the seats. So there was a motivation for them to work harder, put more people in the seats, because of course you're going to make more money if you have more people in the room. And then the audience wins because now they get to experience a full day with us and be able to work with us. And then some of them that chose to go long term would do the deep dive training and be mentored by us as we were traveling and still working with clients all over the world.
And tell me, so you learned the secrets of speaking from the stage. So what are the top level points that people should look out for?
When they go from paid speaking, everybody has that glamorous thing. I want to be a paid speaker and I want to go to all these wonderful places. Okay. You still have to sell yourself, right? You still have to sell one at a time, and you have to get really good first. So it's going to take you a little while to get good, to get a high enough fee, right? So the thing about getting paid to speak, like speaking and selling, is you can start out brand new as a coach. It's just a different way of looking at how you present. So If you're a paid speaker, you're going to be motivational, you might be humorous, you're going to do some teaching points, you're going to be a trainer, whatever level of speaking you come from. Paid speaking is completely reverse engineer. You have to think of what the closing offer is first, and then you build a presentation from it backwards, completely backwards, so that everything you're speaking on, every story that you're telling is case studies, seeding to your offer, you're the solution, and you sell the solution at the end. And it's not even salesy. It's just like you go from conversation mode, just open up the door. Just keep your energy the same way. You don't have to be the best, but you're going to sell more. And then when you put on your own event, even 20, 30 people in a room, now you've got really good prospects sitting in the room. You're not selling one to one, you're selling one to many. And then you just get masterful at that.
And I presume, like, everything that you're teaching, everything you're talking about here, like, it just doesn't apply to speaking from stage. You can obviously do this through an online masterclass or an online webinar as well.
In a live audience, you are 4 times more likely to sell because they are in a group setting, they are emotionally on a high. It is a completely different environment. Now, both work, and some are very masterful at online. The reason I'm more masterful live is because that's where I came from. The stage is my home. I'm more comfortable on a live stage in front of people than I am online. You can work the room, you can have fun with people, the energy, the music. There's just nothing like a live event. Learn out to just people need to embrace one another. Again, this is the strongest year I've seen for live events in a very long time.
Okay, now I want to bring this back to social media as well. How does what you're speaking about in terms of selling from the stage, focusing on what you're selling, and then reverse engineering your sales presentation dash pitch on the stage, but how does this translate on social media?
Imagine the hype that's going to happen after my event. Once you have an event and you've built that brand, I position myself as a total expert in speaking to sales, right? Now I'm getting clients that are going, would you come and close for me? Yeah. So now I've got clients that don't even have time to learn it or don't want to master it. And I come and close and I get percentage of the whole room. That's the kind of clients. But those are existing clients I've worked with that want me to come and work with them on another thing. So how do we work social media? We can build that brand now, even after I'm videotaping the entire live event. And that can be broken down into a course if I never want to do the event again. The whole energy that we show can be showcased on social media, can be broken down into pieces, and then keep launching that throughout the year to keep getting clients that want to hire me to learn this skill. So that's how we plan to use that is through video, because I think that on social media, where we get the most connection is video, with those short videos.
And what about selling your posts on social media? So actually using the social media as your stage.
I'm not truly the expert at that because I'm not the social media guru, and there are people that do that. But you have to know that when you're working with an expert like yourself, Louise, like you're a pro at social media, go to Louise. I go to you and go, hey, do this for me. You come to me when you want to learn this. And I think that goes back to our original conversation is pick your lane and know it and stay in that lane. And when you don't fit in that lane, because there's other experts that know more than you, then you refer them to those other experts. And that builds this, what we call like a joint venture opportunity. You promote what I'm doing or promote what you're doing, and we support our existing clients. You can't be an expert at everything. So don't try and own it. Try and get other experts that can help. And we all have the same target market. Right. And so if you have the same target market, it automatically just expands your market. You need Louise for this, you need Debbie for this, you need somebody else for this.
So tell me, if you're sitting in the audience and see somebody standing up who's had no coaching, no direction at all on how to sell from the stage or how to even present themselves on the stage, what are the biggest mistakes that you see?
They go and wing it and they're like, "Oh, okay, I saw somebody do an event, maybe I should do that, or maybe I should have this retreat," and they don't know how to sell, so they lose money. Here's a good example of one of my clients that's working with me now. She put on a very high-end event. She's got a lot of money, so she threw a lot of money at the event, had a really high ticket price, and there wasn't even a brand built yet. So who's paying 4 grand to go to events now? And then the event was really disjointed because it really didn't have a strong brand. So when I talk about reverse engineer your offer, the entire event needs to be reverse engineered. Everything you're speaking on has to fit what is there at the end, the solution, right? Every speaker that comes in has to fit. And she other speakers on all kinds of different topics. You're going, that was fun. And yeah, I met some great people that turned into clients there. But It was all done wrong. She made absolutely no offer at all. So they barely made any money at all and put so much work into it. So here's the thing is they make no offer at all. They put too much money into the event. There's a million mistakes they make, or they just wing it and go, "Oh, I got some people that I can put in a room," and they have no idea how much money they're leaving on the table. So why wouldn't you invest to learn the skill to make the money back so quickly? Like the return on investment that I can give people when they invest in learning this, the learning curve is so quick and the return on investment is so quick as long as they're willing to say, I'm going to do an event. So it should be no risk, but big reward. That's when it's done effectively. Otherwise, don't do it. Because what happens is when you get burned like that and you've lost a lot of money, you're too scared to go back and do it again. And that they're stuck. And I have heard that many times.
That makes total sense as well. What trends do you see then, Debbie? Where do you see this going, or what do you see that's trending, or changes that you see coming, or where we're going to be in 6 to 12 months' time?
I think definitely with live events being back, they're going to definitely balance the scale more because we had way too much online. We had all of the veteran speakers and experts going online, along with all the new people, oversaturated. People are getting jaded, and I think it's going to be less saturated online. Also, if you've experienced a live event in that, you're going to look for some of the pros that are out there online and start following them as well if you couldn't experience that live experience to go deeper into education, helping people. And again, it's just skills like marketing, sales. These are basic business skills, but right now we're probably only 3% of speakers and coaches. 3%, Louise, 3% that have mastered the skill of speaking and selling from stage. Probably a little higher percentage for online, but probably most of those aren't making big bucks yet. And it's the ones that are doing multiple day online events, and that's I don't even know how they do that. I've tried it. Like, it's hard because 'cause you'll get the energy back from a live audience. I would have to be in a studio with a bunch of people having a party to do a 3 or 4 event. "You come out here, Louise, let's just do it, and we'll go to Vegas and get one of those studios Anthony Robbins has with all the screens behind." I could do that, but, yeah, I don't know how people sit online for days on end. It's tough.
I can really see as well how the in-person events are driving the likes of social media. You connect with all the people who are going to the same event before you go to the event. At the event, you're interacting through the different posts that are happening. And afterwards, then you are able to maintain the connection with somebody, even if they're in a different country, because you have that place where you network. But it's an extension of the live event. So I agree with you. As more and more people are working remotely or by themselves, they will seek out in-person events because as humans, we still want that connection. And if you are working remotely, it's nice to be able to say, okay, 3 or 4 times a year, I'm going to factor in getting in my car or getting on a plane and actually going someplace and meeting people in person. I know you have a really amazing gift for all the listeners here today. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that gift?
Yes, it's a very valuable gift, and there's lots of great content there. It's a $200 value I'm giving away for free, and you're going to go to expertpositioningsuccess.com. I'm sure you'll put it in the show notes. And on there, you're going to have a 30-minute video that walks you through exactly what expert positioning is. And then the biggest piece of this is the multiple income streams. There's another way you're leaving money on the table is how many other income streams you can make by using your voice, being out there speaking. What are you offering? It might be VIP days, personal client VIP days. I do virtual, I do live. It could be masterminds. There's so many different ways. And then there's an action guide that walks you through it step by step. And most importantly, a one-page business plan where you can say, this is how much money I want to make in the middle, and then put your income streams around the edge of that so you can actually see on one page, this is my plan for the year. This is where my money's coming. And I go, hey, I really wanted to do courses, but I only see that's 15% of my income. So why am I going to put half my year of energy building a course when that's really a small income stream? It's going to really break down and give you the reality of where the money is coming in, where you need to focus your marketing, your energies. And then you'll also get a copy of my expert positioning, my newest book as well. So all those goodies are yours. Thanks for Louise having me on the show here with you.
So people want to find you online. Where are you hanging out?
I'm hanging out at debbieallen.com, just like the song, DebbieAllen.com. Easy to remember. You can find more about my mentoring programs, things that I offer, different events. I also have a schedule on there, so you can follow me. I still do a lot of online and I do live, so you can follow me on all of those for live events, but they're all different. One's workshop, one is actually going to be a retreat. up in the beautiful mountains in Colorado, gorgeous speaker mountain retreat that we're excited about. Very casual, hanging out in this beautiful environment and learning how to be a good speaker, how to tell your stories and how to put that together. And then we do another event a number of times a year called a speaker demo event where people fly in and come to the TV studio. We have a $22 million TV studio that is located right out of Phoenix that we utilize for speaker demos so that when you have a demo, you get booked on stages, even if you're waving your feet to speak, and you also get immediate interview that gets you on fabulous podcasts like this and summits and things like that. So I'm sure, Louise, you checked me out before you had me on your show. Can't even talk. I'm sounding like an Irish person now. So all of that goodies are right
That,
there.
that sounds so amazing. So, look, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all your expertise. It really is an eye opener. And I think very many people will be delighted to download your free gift. Thanks so much, Debbie. And I look forward to chatting to you soon again.
And I look forward to you, and we'll be doing some joint ventures, just sharing this with each other. And I love this. I feel like I met a new friend in you. And if you're working with Louise or you're not listening to her podcast, keep listening. It's a bright woman, and she's also very open to collaborations. And I just felt her heart at the first moment I met her. So I'm very pleased to have you in my life now. So let's keep doing this.
Oh, thanks so much, Debbie. I look forward to it. That's it, everyone. That's another episode of the Social Media Takeaway. If you have some feedback, make sure that you tag us on social media. You'll find me under Sell on Social M, or on LinkedIn, you'll find me under Louise McDonald. I'd love to hear your feedback and what you thought about the show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. And if you know anyone who may be interested, be sure to share the show with them too. Thanks, everyone.